Hey everybody, how you doing? Hopefully you're having a nice weekend. Video this weekend, I wanted to give some general thoughts on the market, then run through some trade setups of mine for next week. Most are long ideas, have a couple short ideas thrown in there as well. So let's get started. Here's the SPY, S&P 500 ETF. You can see a couple weeks back we hit this 279, 280 level, which was the highs from March. Price kind of turned back against that. We're currently sitting just above this 274, 275 range here. So we'll look for this to hold next week. If it doesn't, maybe we take a trip down to 270, 271, that next level of interest I'm keeping an eye on. So big picture, nothing really too concerning. Long-term uptrend still in place, still healthy. We have small caps sitting up near their all-time highs. Tech's still sitting up near its all-time highs. So overall, longer term, things look just fine. I did want to share a chart that I look at every so often just to kind of, it's informational. I don't trade off of this. I trade off of price action. But I do find this interesting. So here's the S&P 500. The red dotted line here is where the index would be trading at a gap PE of 15, and the blue dotted line is where we'd be trading at a gap PE of 20. So you could see where we're at right now. We would need about a 20% correction in the market to trade at a PE of 20, which some may consider high, and we need about a 40% correction to trade at a PE of 15. So the market, it would be an understatement to say that the market is fairly valued. Again, if you use this to trade off of, if you don't want to trade an overvalued market, quote unquote, you would have missed out on these huge gains in the last couple of years because it's been overvalued for a while. But this is good information to know, if things start turning the other way. And again, here's the unemployment rate. We're down here today at 3.8, which is wonderful. But the last couple market tops, unemployment rate has started to creep up just as the market was topping. So again, just something to keep an eye on. Price action will dictate when I get in or out of the market, and more importantly, the price action on individual stocks, not necessarily the index. But this is interesting to me, and I just wanted to point this out. So something to keep an eye on there is that unemployment rate, if it starts to creep up, and again, this could take months and months and months, but just wanted to give you a longer term look of something that I found interesting. And again, here's the Shiller PE ratio. We're at the second highest we've ever been since the dot-com bubble. Again, price action looks healthy, so this isn't meant to scare me or you, but it's just kind of showing where we're at. And then price sales ratios is, revenue and sales is hard to fake. Earnings per share can be manipulated easily with share buybacks and things like that, but we're trading at a higher price sales ratio than we've been trading, maybe ever. It's 2.24. This goes back to 2001, so we're well above the median's 1.45. We're at 2.24, the highest it's been in this chart. So just kind of something to keep in mind. Again, price action's looking healthy. Nothing to be concerned about at this point. But if things like that, if price action starts going low, those are the kind of things that you'll start hearing people talk about. So let's get started. Let's look at some charts. Las Vegas Sands. This is one I've owned this stock forever, since 2009. Actually, I've had a position here, but it's consolidating here. It had its highs in January, and it kind of broke above them. It's just been consolidating around this level. So this is one that I'd be watching here. If it can start breaking above, the $80 level, this would be a good add in my opinion. So one to keep on your radar. It's consolidating right there, looking like a nice setup, and then you can set your stop not too far below that consolidation range. So nice risk reward there for Las Vegas Sands. Home, this is one I bought last week. It had this resistance here, around 36, 37, had a nice breakout above it, came back to retest, and kind of looks like it's, kind of firming up around there. So that's where I bought it, looking for a little run. But if you didn't buy it, the reason I include in this video is that it's setting up nice. It has a nice risk reward. You can put your stop here. I put mine a little bit wider, at 34.50 or so. But it has a nice risk reward to come back and at least retest these highs, and maybe have potential to go much higher. So I like this name, growth name, setting up favorable risk reward. So one to put on your radar. This is also one I bought. I bought this one on Friday. Similar idea. It had this idea, this level here, 1550 or so is resistance. It acted as resistance here and here, broke above it, came back to retest, kind of firmed up Friday on huge volume. So looking for some continuation there. This is one like I mentioned, I alerted to members at ttptrading.com about this one Friday. And if you're interested, we just actually introduced, sorry, quick marketing plug, an annual subscription at ttptrading.com. It's a 30% discount on the monthly rate. It's $48 a month for the annual plan. If you're interested, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. So enough with that. Back to the charts. DIOD. This is one I'm just kind of watching here. It's kind of consolidating just above this 35 level. Why is this level important? Well, I'll zoom out to the weekly, and you can see here, it was the highs in 17, and then if you go all the way back here to 2011, that $35 level was the high there. So I'd say that's an important price level. Again, I'm just watching it. Maybe if it can move up above 37 or so, I might trigger an entry, but just wanted to put that one on your radar. IOSP, this is one, it's consolidating right above this, had that huge candle here at the beginning of May. It's just consolidating right there. So if this one could break, it might get a quick run. So I'm watching that one, have an alert set for a little above 80 to get this one on my focus radar here. So I'm going to run through these pretty quick because there's a lot of them. WCN, Waste Connections, nice uptrend. It's kind of hit some highs here, kind of consolidating. So if it breaks out of this consolidation to the upside, this one has nice trade potential, in my opinion. You get your stop underneath the lows there around 75. TBIC had a huge breakout last Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday kind of just stood still. But this is one, I don't think I'd buy it right here, but if it can continue to consolidate a little bit and then break out, that's where I would look to buy. So I just wanted to get this one on your radar. Maybe it drifts a little bit lower for a couple days. That's what I would like to see, or some sideways action. And then when it starts its next run up, if it starts its next one up, that's when I would look to enter. It had that strong breakout. So there's some demand here for these shares. So one to put on your radar. Alta. Similar idea to a home or QTNA. It had these highs in January, was resistance. It kind of broke above it and then just kind of danced around that area. Had one day it went below and just kind of been sitting here. So this is one that I'd be looking for if it starts getting some momentum to the upside after this consolidation area here for the last month or two. This one might be ready to do some running here. So one I'm keeping an eye on, as well as CLF, Cleveland Cliffs. This area around $9. I'll zoom out a bit. This has been, it acted as support down here. Broke below it, was resistance, and it's kind of just sitting on the top end of that. So if this one can move up a little bit, I'd say 10 to 25 cents. This one might trigger an entry for me next week. I like this chart setup quite a bit. We have our defined price level to watch. I'd put my stop a little bit under that yellow box, give it a little bit of room. So one to keep an eye on. Another one here is CLUB. Really strong uptrend, strong move. And then it kind of paused for the last couple months here, and it's sitting really close to the highs there around $12. So if this one could break above that level, this is one I would look to enter again. Why? Because you know the level you're entering at, and then you can put your stop a little bit below it. So if you're wrong and price moves against you, you get out with a small loss. Under Armour, I've owned this one for a long time, and it looks to be, I might add, if it breaks out of this consolidation. It's had such a strong move. It's kind of just downtrending now, kind of orderly digesting those gains. So if it can maybe firm up around here 22 and start getting back over this downtrend line, this would be one I'd look to add to my shares. But I wanted to put this one on the radar. It's not ready yet, but maybe next week if price action is favorable and it starts getting up above this consolidation level, this would be a potential trade. Same with WEX. I've owned this one for a while, but I might add here. It's just been sorry, my email is popping up there. Consolidating, nice kind of a bull flag look, just kind of digesting those gains all month. Friday, not too convincing, but if this one can pull up above 195, I'd say this might be a nice add here. Nice trade setup. You could put your stop. It depends how tight you like them. I usually give mine a little bit of room, so I'd look to set mine maybe at like 186 or so. Shippings, a lot of interesting charts out of this sector here. So this is one, again, it's just digesting the gains. So if it can move up above 925 or so, this would be one I'd be looking to enter here, as that level's acted as resistance a number of times. So if it can get above it, it's a nice area to trade against, because that should act as support going forward. And then as it breaks above it, there might be increased demand for the share. So like this name, one to keep an eye on for next week. Another shipper, GLOG. This one did break above this. We'll call it 1870 or so. It's resistance all these times. Here, broke above it. Some nice volume on Friday. So maybe it comes back and tries to fill some of that gap. Maybe not. You never know. But this is one that's on my radar. I might look to see it if it can consolidate a bit after that strong move Friday. But I like it quite a bit if it could hold this 1875-ish level. TGA, this one's in a nice bull flag energy name. Tons of energy names showing up on my watch list this weekend. Nice kind of consolidation here. So if it could kind of pull above, 250 or so. I don't usually trade stocks that are this low. If I do, I would use a much smaller position, but I do like this chart setup. So if it can pull up above 250, that might present a nice entry on this one. Now let's look at some Dow names here that are looking like potential short candidates if the market action is not good next week. So here's JP Morgan, and this is in Bank of America, the next one. Really similar charts, not surprisingly. But, it had that big bearish engulfing candle Friday, closed below that 200-day. So if it kind of, breaks below this like 105 level, you can see it's kind of coincides with some of the lows here lately in May and June. That might be an area to trade against. It could very well bounce here as well, but if it starts going lower, this is one along with Bank of America. You could start maybe looking to nibble at some shorts here in the financials. Again, this is Bank of America. We can look at this 2850 or so level. If it starts trading below that, there might be some downside follow through. So kind of a wait and see on these. IBM, kind of a similar idea. I'll zoom out a bit. There's these lows from last August, about almost a year ago, and it's bounced off them here, and it's back to revisit it again. So if this level breaks in IBM, 139 or so, that would be a potential short trade as well. Pretty weak price action, below some of these key moving averages. So if it breaks to the downside, that would be a nice potential short trade. Same with 3M. You could see it's well off the highs from earlier this year, just been trending down. So if it breaks below these lows, maybe a few dollars lower, could be a potential short trade as well. Last one, CAT. I'll pull up the weekly chart here. It broke this nice, it had this beautiful long-term uptrend from 2016. It broke it convincingly last week, but now it's sitting right at this key price area around 140 or so. So if it breaks this to the downside, this also might be a potential short for next week. So maybe it moves up a little bit here. Maybe it retests that trend line and then breaks. But this 139-ish level would be the area I'd be looking for in CAT to trigger a short trade. So hopefully you found that helpful. We'll give you some ideas for next week. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Hope you have a nice weekend, and we'll see you next week. Take care.